Hi, friend, and welcome. I'm Marilee. Thank you for joining my podcast, Express Light. I believe we each have a unique gift and ability. Being creative by nature, I have the desire to start my own business, and I know firsthand how important it is to blend creativity and business together. It has not always been easy for me, but I have successfully built my boutique serving people from all over the world. Because of my experience, I am passionate about helping others like myself who are looking to express light in their own lives through their gift, skill, or talent, and make a living doing it. If that's you, tune in each week as I provide tips, interview those who are successful in their craft, as well as share enlightening stories of how to build a business as a creative entrepreneur. Welcome to Express Light. Hello, hello. Welcome everyone back to Express Light. It's Marilee. It's been a while since I've done a podcast and I'm kicking them back up again. And I'm so excited to be joined with Lisa Reyes. She is starting a platform and I really can't wait for you to learn more about reinventing yourself. Lisa, welcome. She has been in real estate. That's a little bit her journey. So you may hear us talk a little bit about real estate and some of her tips there. Lisa, I'm so grateful to have you on the podcast today. Thank you for joining. Tell us a little bit about your history and just where you are now.
Thank you, Marilee. I'm so excited to be here because I think that all of us reinvent ourselves, maybe even daily sometimes, depending on what we do for a living. But I think that it's a very important thing to not feel alone when you're beginning to reinvent yourself, because the first thing that we think of is, you know what, let me try this. And then all of these like doubts start creeping in. So there's been a couple occasions in my life where I had to reinvent myself for a multitude of reasons. Um, but yeah, I wanted to start this because after the pandemic, I feel that so many of us are finding new paths. We're able to work from home. We're able to find things that are happening all over the world and be a part of that and monetize it and be able to provide for ourselves and our families, even though it's not traditional corporate America or, working at a local coffee shop part-time while the kids are at school or, any of those types of things. And so I just want to start this so that people have a place and a community to rely on for support.
Community is so key. And I know you and I met through the Visionary Entrepreneur Summit, and that has been exciting in itself. And we can include links for people to understand, where that is, where that information is, how they can even join and learn more, even about your story through that. But I do understand what you mean about community, and it is so key. And I love that you're building this platform. And you spoke a little bit on doubt, and it's so true. When you're going from something that you've known forever, and you shift over to like a whole new concept, you kind of start questioning yourself like, do I know enough to handle this? Can I financially support myself through this? Who do I get involved with in this? I have no history in it. And all these doubts and fears start kicking in. What are some tips that you would give people that are, maybe a guide to say, hey, when you see these red flags, here's some steps that you can take to kind of avoid some of that doubt and stay on your focus and stay on your mission.
I think, and I say it in the Visionary Entrepreneurial Summit in my 20-minute video that's on there. There's four critical things to keep a positive mindset: no condemning, no complaining, no criticizing, and I can't think of the fourth one, but I will. But the condemn, criticize, complain, yeah. Um, because that the thing that we tend to do is we'll be, you know what, I think I want to do a platform on, like moms, and I want to help moms to keep their schedules in order. So I want to start a group and I want to start this thing, for example, and so what do? We pick up our handy dandy phone, we go on and we do a search for women who are on a platform such as that. And then what do? Oh my gosh, she's so cute. Look at her kitchen. Wow. And you start comparing yourself. No, 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 no. Kiss of death. Don't do it. The other thing to, or you do this. She is doing this. I don't want to have anything to do with that. Oh, no, no, no. And we find these things and we find and it's normal. And you guys, it is so naturally human to do those things. I
Yeah.
have done it a billion times. It just happens. And I'm saying, let it happen. When it comes into your mind, acknowledge the thought. The most important thing is don't take that criticism or that condemnation and turn it into a condemnation or to criticize your own self, because that also is a progression of those types of thoughts. Take it and say, I hear you. I heard exactly what you said. I don't think that way. I heard what you said. I know that you were there, but you're not there anymore. You are leaving now. Goodbye. And get it out of your head and move on and remember that, no matter what, you are absolutely perfect in every way that you need to be. And that to me is the best and biggest tip that we need to follow through with ourselves.
It's so key. One thing that I like to say is what you focus on grows. And it's so true. Like when you focus on comparing, that's all you're going to do. You're going to constantly compare yourself with everything out there. When you focus on, oh, I can't be like her, then you're not going to ever develop yourself because you're going to be so focused on who she is rather than who you can become. And so, I mean, you bring out so many key points, and it's just it's so easy to fall into that trap. I think that we want so bad to become successful that sometimes you're so focused on that success, you're not focusing on the steps that are going to get you there. And, just taking one small step at a time really keeps the momentum going. And if you can focus on just that one step that's in front of you and what it's like to put that together to then progress to the next one, that's what's going to get you eventually to where you want to go. And, steps are messy. You don't always know exactly how you're going to, you know, where you're fully going to end up. But if you just start with one small step toward your goal, then you're going to turn around at some point and see, wow, look at the progress that I've made. It's so true. And I think when it comes to reinventing yourself, you can't focus all on your past. You got to pull out the good parts of your past that have made you who you are and build on that. And so, for example, like what are some things that you've built off of your past that you know about yourself now that are giving you momentum and this desire to help other women going forward?
I think the number one thing is to know that we are all out there comparing and looking and like that, and it's absolutely normal. I mean, and it is normal. I mean, I'm not a historian, but I would venture to guess that, you think of like the Palace of Versailles and in the days of Louis and King Louis and Marie Antoinette. I mean, just think of those people. You know darn well that it's been going on forever. And so I think that the key thing is to know and to remember. And what I've done is to stop and you have to almost overlook those things. And you have to stay. And I love, Marilee, that what you just spoke on. And and just maybe to kind of nail it down, stay in the present. Because when you stay in the present and you focus on that, I remember, oh my gosh, that's right. When I was in the situation and X happened, I took that time and I learned what this situation actually creates in another person. Like, for example, um, when I was doing when I was an escrow officer, um, people don't buy and sell homes historically, mostly. Think about it, regularly. It's not something they do
Right.
regularly. As an escrow officer, what do? You open up the escrow, you go through everything that has to happen legally within the transaction. You stay within the framework of that escrow using only the principals to communicate with. And then you take everything that you have to do and then you close the escrow, meaning you transfer the ownership from the current owner to the new owner, the buyer. And in the meantime, all these other things happen. Well, unless you've done it a million times, you don't know what you're doing. Like you
Right.
don't understand about inspections, you don't understand about loan docs, you don't understand about, there's a multitude of things. And the thing that and the reason why I transitioned into becoming a realtor, one of the main reasons was that call from that seller. There's an inspector in my house. My house is gorgeous. Why would an inspector come to my house to inspect my house? And, totally indignant because a realtor didn't bother. And there's a billion beautiful, wonderful realtors. This is no bash on realtors,
Mhm.
but in a certain occasion, it did happen. And like, and this poor seller, she didn't have any idea that this person was coming to their house and the purpose of the inspection.
Mhm.
So I think that one of the things moving forward that I've done, that I've taken from the past, that I've learned, that I apply now, is educating people to the steps. In my mind, I can open and close an escrow like that. It doesn't matter what side of the table I'm on, buying side, selling side. I know exactly what has to happen from beginning to end. And that's not fair for me to keep all that in and not explain and walk through the process with a client. And a
Right.
lot of times I find that people just get very, like, the light bulb goes on over their head, like, yeah, that makes sense to do that. Like buying a home warranty before, like, as soon as you get ready to list your house, get a home warranty, make sure that all your appliances are going to be covered, because you know what's going to happen. What's Murphy's law? If something can go wrong, it will. You never know. Oh my God, my stove went out, or something like that. Or I'm in Arizona, so, oh, you're kidding, no AC, or something like that. So, putting things in place and helping people to know from what they've learned in the past too, that putting those things in place where you found it was a hurdle or a difficulty or an obstacle that needed to be overcome, that you came to the realization that this is what I need to know and this is the solution. So I hope that answers your question. It's kind of
Yes.
long-winded, huh?
No, you're good. And you bring up a point, like really it's kind of comes down to dealing with, like when you mentioned the inspection portion, a little bit of it, and it's true when you're reinventing yourself, is dealing with the unexpected. And I think that's such an unknown that we want to sit in our comfort zone and we want to know, that we're secure and we're safe. And it's the hard thing to step out. And it's really kind of stepping out in faith, knowing that you can be successful and believing yourself in that. And so I think some of it has to do with that change. And I always like to say change is a little bit like a ladder. You know, things happen in life. We don't know what those obstacles are going to be, but it's kind of like going up or down. So if up or down, however you move the ladder over to the right or the other side of the building, however you do it, but every step that you're on is a different perspective. And that perspective can give you a whole new world of opportunity. And so don't be afraid of that, step into that and realize the creativity. Like that's where you can become and really develop who you are and who you want to be. And you have the potential to move it around and go around that obstacle and figure out how you can do that the best you can. It may take a few hard attempts, but there is zero failure in try. I think the only failure is to not try because you'll never know what's on the other side if you don't, you know? So, Lisa, thank you so much for joining me today. It was such a joy to get to know you and just to be able to have this conversation. Do you have any last thoughts that you want to give our viewers or?
Thank you so much. That was so well put. That was so well put, Marilee. Gosh, I couldn't agree more. Just one last thing, food for thought, you guys, is your the people in your sphere, your loved ones, um, whoever the closest people to you are. I mean, there's a million labels for all of them, right? Remember this. I would say mostly they want the best for you. And I think that when people try and talk you out of things, sometimes they do that to try and protect you from failure and from feeling badly or poorly about yourself for not being able to do something well. And So I think that the summit that Marilee and I are just coming off of, one of the key things that I've learned and that I really, really am so passionate about now to help and to perpetuate in people's minds is you're perfect the way that you are. The idea that you came up with is a great idea. Find the community that is going to support you.
Yes, and you have that idea for a purpose. It came to you for a reason. So it's your opportunity to share it with the world and to just let it grow and see what it becomes. Again, Lisa, so great to get to know you and to visit with you. Those of you who are interested in getting to know Lisa more, you can contact through the Visionary Summit, and we'll include information for that. Lisa, do you have a specific link you want to share with our viewers where they can contact you?
Yes, I do. I'll and I'll provide that with a link for you.
Perfect. Thank you so much again, and we'll be back at you the next time.
Thank you.